Hi, guys. Welcome back to August's Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
I'm sorry.
You wasn't sure on it, was it?
No, I knew my name. This feels weird to introduce this back. I feel like I've been gone for a really long time. And I was also trying to find the name of the episode.
So you coming back MJ45?
No.
Back like 2-3?
Always 23.
Okay.
Never 45.
Okay. I'm talking about Michael Jordan.
I know.
And not 45.
I know, but I wasn't even thinking about 45 until you said that.
44 is a GOAT, though.
You're right.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about in terms of MJ, I'm 23, never 45. Not to say 45 was a bad person.
What about the Wizards 23 and not the Bulls 23?
Nah, definitely.
Those are two different.
Definitely a Bulls player, not a Wizard. I don't know those people.
I wonder why the Wizards?
What do you mean?
Like
team title?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, why did he go to the Wizards and not anybody else?
I don't know.
Because they were trash when he came back.
I don't know. I would have been I've been in Chicago all this time. Give me some warm weather.
Right.
Send me to Orlando.
Yeah. I'd have went down there, yeah.
Be Miami. Give me the heat.
We gonna play with the Lions.
Let me be the Magic. Something.
Yeah.
Anywho, again, my name is Artieka. And he's Tommy.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 15. I guess this will be a combination for me of episode 14 and 15 because we technically didn't do a review.
I didn't prepare for that.
We'll have to pull a few nuggets from the last episode.
I'm going to let you get them
but
nuggets
15 is Are You My Person? And 14 is No Hug For You. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell.
Yes. Do that thing.
For couples. Let's start with, I guess, least confrontation is Stasha and Nate. Either them or Kristen and Mitch.
We go Stasha, Nate.
Okay. So, Stasha and Nate went to go visit the new house. Nate said it's too clean for him. And I was just like...
Nate's gonna have a real problem.
Yeah, he is. I'm like, aren't new houses supposed to be clean?
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah. I mean, brand new construction
I'm saying,
homes.
they should, No,
I had to preface that because, our house was not clean.
Our house was clean.
No, it wasn't, sterile clean.
Oh,
when
yeah,
we
no.
moved. When we closed on it is what I'm talking about. But a brand new construction home, I feel like should be clean.
Yeah.
At closing. And she's moved a few things in, which I just saw a lot of plants and a candle.
Yeah.
But she's moved some things into the home and they kind of walked through and looked at, different options. And, she was like, her color palette was black and white and she wanted to have pops of gold. And he was just like, yeah, this is too clean for me.
I watching them walk through the house. The only thing that came up was this is Stasha's house.
It is.
And they're going to have a hard time making it a home for them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how controlling she's going to be because this is a house that she worked on getting. And I don't know how they can fix that. I don't know how.
They can't.
Right. I don't think they can.
That's a simple they can't. And I say that because as someone who has moved into someone else's space, I moved into your apartment.
Yeah.
It was difficult to merge our lives with the apartment. And I don't mean the you and I living together part, but the your things versus my things versus our things. I hate to say it this way, but us getting our apartment fire 2 apartments later was one of the better things that happened for us to be able to merge our things.
I didn't know you had an issue with merging because it was a lot of stuff I just didn't have.
Right. And then there were things that you just refused to get rid of.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Tommy had a futon that had seen better days 5 years before I moved in.
No, that was a newer futon.
It still seen better days. You did get rid of the one futon that was in the dining room.
Yeah, that was just a mattress.
I know. And then the other futon.
Yeah.
You wouldn't throw it away. You was because like, I need to give it to somebody.
I was like, it's still useful.
It was in terrible condition.
No, it wasn't.
Anywho, I think that there will always be an issue if they continue living in that home.
Yeah.
And I don't know how
I think
that can be fixed.
I also think Nate had a lot of points when he brought up the children aspect of it. He was like, all this white around here is not conducive to having children.
Oh, it's not at all.
And she was like, well, I'm going to watch them. Like, you're not. Like, as much as you say you're going to watch your kids, they're going to do stuff that you be like, when did you do that?
Prime example, last night, I'm upstairs with the baby. Tommy's downstairs in the den watching the game. Lily goes in the refrigerator and gets out some grapes. Granted, grapes aren't dirty.
Yeah.
But like the fact that she's like, we're thinking, I don't know where he thought she was going, but I thought she was going into her from her bedroom to the den with him. She goes in the fridge, spills a whole container of grapes because she wanted grapes.
Yeah, and let in mind, she had all the snacks that she had asked for
on her table.
So, like, she had access to the snacks.
Everything that she wanted but the grapes. And she was like, nope, I'm getting grapes.
And she had not asked anybody for any grapes.
Not one time.
So
things like that happen, just normal circumstances. Yeah. Like, I'm feeding the baby, he's watching the game, she's not asking for anything, and then next thing we know, grapes everywhere. So, I mean, it's difficult to say that your house is going to stay clean, and grapes are something easy to clean up.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's flour?
Yeah.
or they wanted grape jelly.
But I truly think that she gonna run into the big issue of, like, I don't want to say underthinking, because it's a better word out there than underthinking, but she's underthinking this whole I want a child thing, and I think Nate is overthinking it, as I think they talk about it a little bit later on in the episode.
You can go ahead and jump to that.
Yeah, I think Nate, he actually brought up his mom issue. Like, we learned a little bit more about his mom in this episode, because when he was born, his mom was 23 and his dad was 36. So that age gap and how immature his mom was.
I missed that part.
And Stasha was like, but I'm 37. You know, so the comparison. So we see that the mom issue is there, and that's his major issue with children and being prepared for children.
That makes sense, because if you think that your mom wasn't mature enough to handle things and your dad was, and that's how you ended up with your dad. Obviously,
we see that his mom wasn't mature enough.
I mean, I'm saying, like, I'm literally going through his thought process with this.
Yeah.
If you think that your mom's not mature enough and that's why you ended up with your dad, then you're looking at things like, I'm going to treat this very, very differently.
Yeah.
Than how my mom handled things.
Right.
And Stasha got offended because she's like, but I don't act like that now, so why would I do that with a child? I see both sides to that story, because why would she just all of a sudden become a reckless individual in parenthood? But he's like, I don't know my mama's story either. She might have been cool, but then she wouldn't. Also, this is one of the things they talk about when they went hiking. I'm kind of jumping around because I didn't take in order notes.
Yeah.
But when they went hiking and we're making the guacamole and we're talking about parenting, he was like, he wants to be all in 100% until the baby is like 3. So like, we're not going on vacations unless we take the baby. Like, we're not spending a week away from the baby. And I mean, I can get that. By default, we didn't spend any time away from Lily until right before she turned 3.
Yeah.
Ours was because of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's just how life happened.
And that's what I mean by like Nate is overthinking it and Stasha is underthinking, because she keeps hollering out, I want to be a fun parent.
Mm-hmm.
Parenting is, I still want to go out and do this and do that, which you can.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with it is now you have this extra person that you have to make a decision for.
Mm-hmm.
Going out, it's fun. Going out on dates is something that you should do, and you should have a person that you can drop your baby off to.
I think that he didn't even say they couldn't go on dates. He was just like, we're not taking week-long vacations nowhere.
Right. And that's what I was going to get to. It's like the vacation part, that's a little different, because now you have to think about, okay, we're going to go on vacation. We're not going to be able to go on vacation for a week, only because a lot of the time spent with this child this baby is going to be napping.
Mm-hmm.
Either napping, feeding, crying.
We're also in a very, very different tax bracket where they could afford to bring a nanny.
Yeah.
And the nanny could stay with the baby while they do things. But then that incurs additional expenses, because you got to give this nanny a room. You got to give this nanny leisure time to herself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors. I don't think that I don't think she voiced how it could work as loudly as he voiced how it wouldn't work.
And the other thing about it too is all of these are hypotheticals.
Right.
Like, you don't have a child. So it's like, until you have a child, you really don't know how it's going to go.
And I think about like my friends. Somebody actually posted a meme about this recently because they took their kids to the beach. They're like, going on vacation with kids is not going on vacation. It's just watching your kids in a new location.
Yeah.
Because you still have to keep the same routine that you had. Like, meals are at this time, snacks are at this time, naps happen then, sleep happens then. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh, I can do it to the relaxing sounds of the ocean, but I don't get to relax at the ocean like I would if I was on this vacation by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I see both sides. Not saying you can't go on said vacation. However, I also see Nate's side. I couldn't imagine saying I'm just going to leave my itty bitty baby for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And mine is more so of a breastfeeding standpoint than a nurturing standpoint. Ain't nobody trying to pump around the clock on vacation.
And that's another thing I don't think they thought about was like this is just a hypothetical thing. And it's like, I'm hoping that they don't base their decision off of hypothetical children.
Yeah.
Because your way of parenting, your idea of parenting is going to change when it comes to the children once they get here.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to apply the things that you've been thinking and trying to work on and apply them in real time. Right. Because it's one thing to say, okay, this is what I plan to do, but it's another thing when real time gets here and the baby tells you what they plan to do, but all of it is a rational conversation, rational fears. And the biggest one that I think that they're like is a real one is the house.
Because that's like an actuality like that they're facing like today.
Yeah.
Like, decision day comes, we both say, yes, this is where you want me to live.
Right. And Nate was like, I'm put in a vulnerable state because you say you won't put me out, but if you do, I'm homeless. You know? And we all looking at it like, oh, this is not Nate's home. This not, you know, this is where Nate lives, but this ain't Nate's house. You know, and that's a weird feeling to feel like a visitor in your own home.
Right.
You know,
because no matter how comfortable he can get in the house, it's still always going to be Stasha's home. And like even him going through and saying he likes certain cabinet pulls, she was like, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
And she gets final say. It's her house.
Yeah. And I just think, you know, she has to figure out how to make him comfortable in that home if that's where they're gonna live. And it's funny because what I was thinking was a lot of the times when it comes to like designing the home and stuff, I throw an idea out there, but ultimately I don't care. You know, like if I don't like it, I'll tell you, but most of the time you're like, I want to do this. All right, cool, go ahead.
But then there's even things where it's like this room, for example, where we're filming in. This was all you.
Yeah, but it served a different purpose though.
Right.
You know,
and I get it, but it's just like one of those things. It's like I didn't argue about any parts of this room whatsoever. Yeah. I take that back. I have one argument, but it's not about the design aesthetic. It's just I want to move something out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's even been something that you've been cool with. So it's
right. And that's the thing. Works. And that's the thing. It's like Nate has to say, like, it has to, like, their things have to happen. And then Nate has to say, this is where I feel comfortable at. And, you know, he has to work on actually feeling comfortable in the home, and Stasha needs to make him welcome and not give so many rules, because the rules that she gives him is what makes him uncomfortable in the home. So,
you got anything else for them?
No, I think I touched everything.
All right, so let's move on to Kristen and Mitch. Mitch went on went to a conference for work right after they got back from the retreat. She FaceTimed him, you know, he talked about how he missed her, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He gets back in town. They go spend the day at the beach. Him, her, and Luna. And on the way to the beach, she asked him about his ring. Now, the ring really, like, got to her. The fact that he didn't wear it on the conference. And I completely understand why he didn't wear it on the conference.
Do you?
Yes. I am on a show called Married at First Sight, and people aren't supposed to know how this is going until it airs on TV.
Yeah.
I have on a ring. Now I have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have questions because, as we've seen now from our friend groups alone, everybody watches this show. So I know somebody on the show and I can find out something about the show. I'm going to have a million questions about this show. And not just from a standpoint of like us being people that review the show, but like from the standpoint of an actual viewer, I got questions. And you think about it, going away for a weekend, everybody having questions, you're going to say something that you're not supposed to say and tell somebody something that you're not supposed to tell them. So it's like, out of sight, out of mind. People see you on the ad for it. They'll be like, I didn't know. You're absolutely right. You didn't know. So I get why he didn't wear the ring, because that's exactly what he said. He was like, it just sparks conversation. I'd have to go and do a presentation on it. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get it, you know. Like, I was looking at it from a standpoint of, man, just wear your ring. Because most people was like, would understand that, you know, he did Married at First Sight, because you can say I'm on Married at First Sight,
but can you? We don't really know if they can or not.
Well, anyway, I mean, like, you know, He's at a conference. I just thought it was weird when I saw it. You know, like I didn't think about your explanation of not having to, like actually talk about it or being able to talk about it contractually.
Mm-hmm.
But people knew that he was married. You know, it was some people. He was saying the head people didn't know, but you know, some of the friends at work knew and stuff like that. The thing that kind of like got me where I was like, "Shut up, Mitch," was when she asked, "Were there any pretty girls there?"
He's like, hundreds of them.
I was like, Mitch, just yeah, or like yeah or nay. And just leave it at that,
That's
man.
something she's going to have to get past as well. Like, I know that's an insecurity of hers because of the initial, like, attraction conversations that's been, like, hovering over
but he
their
doesn't
relationship.
like girls like that. Like, how weird to, like...
First I was saying, he don't like girls like that. Okay, like, continue. I just want to point out what you said.
I got you. I hear you. I see what you're cooking. He doesn't like the really, really pretty girls.
Mm-hmm.
He liked the natural girls. I imagine when he liked the girls that have armpit hair.
He likes Amelia.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Amelia was pretty to me.
Look,
though.
I'm not saying anything about girls with armpit hair. It's just not for me.
But I think Amelia was pretty.
Yeah.
You didn't think Amelia was pretty.
You know what? I never even thought about that.
You looked at me like, yikes. Like, I didn't think...
Look, and you talk about my taste.
I didn't think that she was unattractive, right?
Yeah.
And so me not thinking that she's unattractive... I don't think that her armpit hair is part of her overall aesthetic.
You know, that bothered me so much. Though.
Yeah, but I didn't think of that as being part of her aesthetic of if she's attractive or not. I think that that's just part of, for lack of better words, her vibe.
And it's probably, and it's probably not that he likes girls with armpit hair, but like the girls that like lay out on the girls that you think about when you looking at somebody at a beach, right?
Mm-hmm. Not Miami Beach, because that's a different aesthetic.
Is it?
You know what it looked like in Miami,
man. Look at here.
See,
that's what I'm talking about. Like that's what you think of. That's what I think about when I think of a beach. Anyway, I just thought Mitch should have just been quiet and not go answer the question and move past it.
I hate that she has been triggered to the point where she feels like she needs to ask him about how other women look that he was around.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I hate that too, but I mean, it's one of those questions you're like, don't ask the question if you can't handle the answer type of deal, I don't think it was a big deal to her. Mm-hmm. But just, the shock that she asked that. But we also see I think the funniest part was the pug, Luna, surfing.
Right. She was like, I can't tell if Luna hates it. I mean, if she loves it or if she's completely terrified.
Like, I think that's hilarious to think about. And then I was like, man, that is truly a Men in Black dog. The Men in Black dog. You don't remember Men in Black?
Vaguely remember that movie.
Goodness,
I saw it.
You gotta watch more movies, man.
I saw it. I don't remember it.
Let's see. I got on the wrong couple. Ring. I really didn't have a lot. When they sat down with Justin and Alexis to kind of talk about the things that they like, I guess their couples and their relationships and stuff. Yeah. One thing that stood out to me was how like Kristen and Mitch were like not taking sides, but it's like, why did y'all decide to talk to this couple when you know that this couple or Alexis doesn't truly care about other couples?
Alexis has become everybody's friend. Like, she's the girl who wanted to just be everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And so she has positioned herself to be, you can trust me with your information, although we've seen that she can't be trusted with
Yeah,
information.
I don't think when I saw and found out that Alexis is who told Morgan the things that she, that basically triggered Morgan to not want to be with Ben, I would have started to cut off what it was that I was saying to her.
Right.
A lot of the stuff would be
surface level.
Yeah, with her, just because I wouldn't want her to talk to the wrong person. Like, it's okay to say, oh, well, my spouse knows, I think. But it's another thing to, if I'm talking to one person, my spouse tells you, or your spouse tells you what I talked about, and then you go back and tell my spouse, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but she was also having that conversation in front of Mitch, so there would be no, let me run back and tell.
That's true, but it's still, just because I've seen her do it, I would, wouldn't talk to her about a lot of things.
Yeah. Alexis is like, I want to be everybody's homegirl. Tell me everything. Yeah. And then she pillow talks with her homie Justin, because he ain't her husband. He just her homie.
Nate was like, basically, Nate said he don't like her. She's a liar.
Nate has said that several times, like the episodes and after party. Yeah. Like, we know where Nate stands with Alexis.
Yeah.
He's never sugarcoated that.
Yeah.
You got anything else for Kristen and Mitch?
No, I think they're good. I think they're good.
Never thought you could say that, huh? Speaking of Justin and Alexis, let's move to them. So, leaving the retreat, Justin and Alexis talk about their sex life.
Yeah.
And he says that he's going to work on his stamina. And he said he's going to start working out so that he can work on his stamina. And she was like, do they have a machine to help with your thrust? And I was like,
sexually immature.
Oh,
yeah.
Stabbed in the heart.
Yeah.
Like, that's a conversation that you didn't need to have in this car. In front of this camera.
I mean, and it could be in front of the camera, but it's like you have a better conversation. Mm-hmm. That's a dig, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a I want you to have sex with me better.
Mm-hmm.
But she took a dig at him. Mm-hmm. Like him bringing up the fact that he needs more stamina. No, you just need to do it more. It's a muscle.
Well, I think that also part of, I get where he's coming from. Like, I need to work out because I'm winded easily. That makes sense. Let me go work out because I'm winded easily. I don't think that necessarily is like, he's using it in this conversation as a direct correlation to sex. However, you need to increase your stamina because you need to increase your stamina in general.
Yeah.
Like, work out. Like, Justin has an awkward body type.
He does.
So, and it's like, I can't tell if he like was big and he got small, or if he's just tall and has like extra weight in weird places. Mm-hmm. I can't figure it out. Yeah. But it's like, and that's not a dig at his body type. It's just,
yeah, no, I get that.
It doesn't fit someone that you traditionally see that's his like height.
Right.
They're usually either bigger or they're smaller. Like he's got a combination body.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just can't figure that out.
He got a SpongeBob body.
I wouldn't have said that, but okay.
But no, it's like she took a dig at his sex game, and it shows how mature she is in sex. I don't know how she could have worded that to make it better. Not say it. No, but it's a conversation that needs to happen. It's a conversation to say, hey, like, all right, we had sex, but let's try this next time, or do this. Because they've only had sex once. Once, right. Like, you can't judge a person's sex game off of one time. Like, it has to be a consistent thing. But in learning how to have sex with a person, you have to talk about it. If I'm doing something wrong, if what I'm doing is getting me off, but it's not getting you off, but that's all I know to do, that's all you're going to get until you say, hey, do this.
Right.
You know?
No, fully agree. Fully understood.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like I could go even deeper in that because I'm not.
Let's do that. Let's have an additional conversation for the membership.
Okay.
You can talk about it there.
Okay.
Air all of your grievances. So we also see Justin go and get Maya.
That was so sad.
Apparently Maya out here leading dog gangs and fighting at training camp. And so they're like, this isn't gonna work.
I don't like Maya was in dog jail.
She was.
I don't know what type of she got put out of it.
She did.
For biting another dog. And it's like
Maya got some aggression issues.
Right.
She out here because he said that's not the first time Maya bit a dog was when she bit Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Because Newton got attacked.
Yeah.
And then she goes to training camp and bites another dog.
Mm-hmm.
So man, these dogs got to stop triggering Maya.
Yeah, but I just don't. First off, I don't believe that Justin, I forgot his name real quickly. I don't believe that Justin had started Maya off right. Because at this point, it's a behavior that she has. Like, she's not going to be good around other dogs. Mm-hmm. She may be good around humans, but not other dogs. And it's just something that you have to start weaning her off of, you know? And it's his dog, and it's his baby and stuff like that. So I feel him on why he was feeling sad about having to let the dog go and stuff like that. But halfway through the episode, I started getting the feeling that he was like, "Man, I made the wrong decision."
He did. That's why Maya was given to his friend Chris, because he's like, I can get Maya back from Chris. I can't get Maya back if I give her to another owner or do a voluntary surrender at the shelter. Mm-hmm. I can get Maya back though from my homie.
I think he asked Alexis for basically him giving Maya away was a yes in his book. It was an automatic, we're doing this thing type of deal to him. He asks Alexis, where is she in the process? Which
makes complete sense, because if I'm not giving up my dog to be alone. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have any issues with Maya, but you and your dog did. Yeah. So to suffice you, I'll get rid of my dog, but that means I'm sufficing you, which means we're going to be together.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to be together? Get my dog back.
Right. And that's the thing. It was like, I get it. They're trying to be, decision day is coming and they're trying to get on the same page, and he's trying not to have any surprises, but you're going to be surprised if you don't expect her to say no.
Right.
If your expectation is for her to come in and say yes, you're going to be surprised, because her answer is no at this point, because she can't give you a clear answer on is it yes, if decision day was today, is it yes or no, and she's like, I don't know.
And we know that all these couples have these conversations. Nobody should be going into decision day blindsided.
Right. Bless you, son.
He hit himself with the pacifier like he popped it. Nobody should be going into decision day blindsided. Everybody should be able to be like, hey, the person that I'm with is going to say this. And I don't understand Like, I understand why he asked this question.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why she's like, he's got to be more sure of himself. He's sure of himself. It's you that's the issue.
Right. And the thing that when he gave Maya away and Maya and Chris drove off, she asked Justin not to bring the fact that he gave his dog away up in her face as a, I gave my dog away for you, type of deal. Because she knows that's what happened. But the issue that I have with her is that she's not being 100% with him.
She hasn't been. Every time she's had the space and opportunity to do so, she has been passive aggressive.
Yeah. Like that. And that's
I'm going to let you talk.
Right.
But I really wanted to say this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a dig at you 2 days later.
And that's a problem. And that's something that she has to understand. Like, you're not going to be happy with a person if you don't be 100% truthful to them.
Right.
Because now Justin's making a decision based off of a lie. Or not a full truth in her book. So it's like, why are you still on the fence? Why is it that you're still on the fence, but he's all in? What gets you to all in? Because we all know what all in looks like for us, what we are looking for. If he's not what you're looking for, tell him. Because at this point, you have to make a decision.
I assumed that they were going to be another Jasmina and Michael situation where we say yes on decision day. And then at the reunion, we've broken up already. But at this point, I don't even know if it's going to be the yes on decision day to be broken up at the reunion. But I mean, we'll see how that goes.
It's crazy. 2 more things. Mitch asked her. She was like, when they was talking with Mitch and Kristen, Mitch asked her, is the 90, because she said, I'm a 90% sure. Or, something like that. He was like, is 90% good enough?
Which was a valid question.
It is. And I don't even know what she said to that.
I thought he asked Justin that.
He might.
I think Justin
he asked her that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I think Justin was like, nah, it's not.
Justin was looking for an assurance, and she couldn't give him any type of assurance.
When he worked out with Nate,
Justin quit.
Justin was just basically like, well, it's a 90% no for me.
It's a no for me, dog.
And I'm just like, unless the scales are 50-50, and I don't know how y'all measure this stuff, but unless it's 50-50, and the answer is no.
Nate is the wrong person to talk about Alexis to.
That is true. That is true.
If Nate comes into the situation with a distaste for Alexis. So anything that you say negative about Alexis to him feeds into his already perceived view of her. And so he already has a negative view of her. Now you're feeding more fuel to him. Like, he's not going to give you advice to say, hey, stick it out.
Right.
He's going to say, that's probably a no dog. Then the fact that they were together, like, I know that was it's like you don't see them two interacting the way that you would think that they would interact.
Justin and Nate, because they are the black people on the show. Yeah, Nate seemed like his person was more Ben from the after party, and Justin's person was more Ben. So Ben was just like their glue. Yeah, but their glue is gone. And it's like, you're here. I can't see Nate hanging out with Mitch. And
not Miguel.
I can see him hanging out with Miguel.
I can't see that. I can see Nate hanging out with Mitch more than I can see
their bluntness for things wouldn't go over well for other people.
Right, but for them, they'll be,
Yeah, but I can't see him being like, I'm going to call up Mitch and see if he want to go get some beers, because he would be like, bruh, stop talking about all this environmental stuff. I'm just trying to have a beer. Right. Like, I think the conversations could be fine, but all the extra Mitch stuff, Nate would be like, bruh. Stop.
Right. Stop it right now.
So I have nothing else for them.
Nope.
So last but not least is Lindy and Miguel. The episode opened up with Lindy and Miguel's conversations with their respective teams after the what were they playing? Dodgeball?
Yeah.
After the dodgeball game. And Lindy crying. And then they talked to each other, and Lindy was basically like, she didn't say gaslighting, but she was essentially like, you gaslit me this entire ordeal. Like, you tried to make it seem like I was crazy for noting that you were in a bad, like you had a bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to tell me, no, I didn't have a bad attitude. And he's like, no, I had a bad attitude. It just wasn't as bad as you thought. And I'm like, did you hear yourself?
He didn't.
Well,
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'm trying to hand you him and this pacifier. I'm sorry. I don't know that they resolved any parts of the conversation with that being said. However, Miguel was like, what if we're not right for each other? And I felt Lindy in that moment. If every time we have a disagreement, your response is, well, what if we're not right for each other? Everybody don't agree 100% of the time.
Right.
Why do you feel like you need to be agreed with? And then Lindy's just been real emotional the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I don't get it, because like, you blew up at me because I didn't listen to your poem because I was on a horse and carriage ride. You blew up at me because I asked you to take a picture. Then you blew up at me because I asked somebody else to take a picture. It's just been like, she can't win this week. Yeah. And he just like, I mean, this is how it is. And you need to learn how to read the room.
I think this time they played Dungeons and Dragons, right? In this episode.
Yeah. Oh, before the Dungeons and Dragons, he gave her an insurance card.
Oh, yeah.
So that was his way of saying, I'm in, but what about your last name, though?
He was like, forget it. Forget it. Don't worry about it.
So, yeah. Then they played Dungeons and Dragons. I'm confused about how this works.
It seemed like, I don't know how you play Dungeons and Dragons, but it seems like fairy tale game.
I got that part.
And, you kind of make up where it seemed like he was just making up the rules as they.
That was the part that was confusing to me. That's exactly the part that was confusing to me. Because, okay. We're telling a story. It has to be fantasy. You tell me we have to use these characters, and I can only go so far before the next person has to pick up the story. Okay, I'm completely in with that. Yeah. But he kept being like, well, what if he says this? Yeah. But he can't do this. And I'm like, well, why can't he? Is that in the rule book? Where the rule book at?
Who's making up these rules?
I'm not following.
Right.
I am confusion.
And then Lindy was like, it sounds like us.
The guy running, did he say he ran away on the wedding day?
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, is that what you wanted to do? Is that what you want to do now? I got questions. It was just, it was really confusing. So they went and after the Dungeons and Dragons game, they went and talked to their friends separately. He had a friend that came. She had a friend that came. And she basically cries to her friend about how bad this week has been. And again, I get it. Like, she has had the last 3 days have been rough in general. I don't even know what the previous 4 were like. But like, we had fight after fight over the retreat, which was over a weekend. Then we get back home and we still beefing. Like, this is a lot. I'm tired for you, Lindy.
The issue that I had was his response to it. I think he said something like, He didn't like her talking about him to her friends because he couldn't defend it or something like that.
As we watched him having a conversation with his friend
about her,
talking about this situation.
Right.
And I'm like, you just don't want to be talked about because you don't want to be portrayed to her friends in a negative light.
Because he knows
he been on some BS.
He been BSing. And the thing about it is, it's like he's been looking for his way out. You know, this whole time. He smashed. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's a check, you know, I'm getting that. And then he didn't get anything like he makes it seem like that's all he wanted throughout this whole thing. And then he had 8 weeks to do it before he needed to say no. Her saying that she has a worse attitude, like what she's shown him is not fully her yet. Didn't help. And then the fact that he can't control his emotions enough to not take it out on her.
And from the outside looking in, y'all got the same like explosive attitude.
Right.
But like, and it seems like yours is more short fused because it took her building up to like, you want to have sex with me, you want me to change my name, but I asked you for something simple like insurance and you got a beef with me. And his is, don't ask me to take your picture. Don't ask nobody else to take your picture.
Yeah.
Like,
read the room. Like it's
you equally blew up just as big as she did,
right,
over something a lot smaller.
Asking her, you know, it's him not understanding what working through it means and what it looks like. Because the issues that they have are things that's what I was talking about. Like if they have a simple conversation, because the idea that she said she doesn't feel like she can talk to him about the issues that she have. Like she has to kind of like keep it to herself because he doesn't want to hear it or whatever reason. He's not making her feel comfortable enough that he can talk to her. That's the problem. And that's something that you have to work through to get to successful marriage.
And I get like you want to talk to your friend.
You want to sit up?
I guess you want to talk to your friend about the marriage and how things are going, because everybody needs a sounding board, right?
Yeah.
And with everybody needing a sounding board, this is her sounding board. This is my person to be like, hey, things are rough right now. Like, help talk me off this ledge. And then I can go and have a clear, calm conversation with him. But he's just like, don't talk about me to nobody about anything. But also don't talk to me about it either. Because you're going to be loud and crazy. So yeah, it was a lot. I think Quiet wants us to get off of this. So I'm about done. You can say whatever you got to say.
But it was just, you know, just seeing them two, seeing how much Lindy has cried in these last few days, man, has like truly bothered me, and it should have bothered him. And I don't know, man. I think he's like he's made his decision, and now he's just, you know, riding his time out. Because it ain't really much she can do at this point. Because he's told everybody he's talked to about her that, he's tired of her. And, you know, he's ready to quit. So, but that's all I got, man.
Yeah, they just got 3 days left. And you would think that he'd be able to be nice for the last 3 days. But no. Anywho, you got a question?
I don't have a question.
All right. I need to go back and look at our very first review or second review when we did our predictions so I can see how correct we were.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that and hopefully be able to put that in the next episode's video of what we thought. So that's all I got. Ain't got no more.
All right.
Quiet, do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let us know what you thought of this week's episode.
Join the membership.
Happy to be back. I missed a lot.
Yeah.
This is like 2 weeks of being gone, technically, for me.
Yeah.
But we will see you guys Sunday with Jack and Glenn, which is today. And then Wednesday-ish with the podcast.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace.